Hey guys, it's Max, and we're back with Battlecode 2016. In this video, I'll talk about the gameplay specs for this year. The objective is to destroy your opponent or survive longer against waves of zombie enemies. The game is turn-based, and each of your robots has a limited compute power called bytecode. There are several types of robots, and when the robot's hit points gets less than or equal to 0, the robot is destroyed. Your goal is to do that to all of your enemies. Each robot runs its own copy of robotplayer.java, which is where you write the artificial intelligence for your robot team. Your team no longer has a headquarters this year. In previous years, there was some headquarters unit that had vision of all of your team's robots and the ability to communicate to all of them to make them work together as a team. In this year's game, there is no such unit. So your robots must work together as a team by sending signals to one another in a more distributed fashion. This year's game is split into 4 factions. There's Team A and Team B as usual, as well as a zombie team and a neutral team. The zombies spawn from 2 places. One is from zombie dens, which are placed around the map, and the other is from infected robots. The schedule for zombie spawning at dens is specified in the XML map file. For example, it might say spawn 10 standard zombies at round 600 per zombie den. At that point, those zombies wake up, they appear on the map, and they start to execute a special zombie AI. And the zombie AI behaves in approximately this way. First, it attacks a random unit within attack range. If there are none, then second, it moves toward the closest player-controlled unit. If its path is blocked by rubble, then it will clear that blockage. The neutral team is a little different. Neutral robots start spawned somewhere on the map. They will do nothing until they're activated by your team's Archon. If your team's Archon activates it, it will join your team as one of your robots and run your code the same way any robot you would spawn would. The neutral robots are not attacked by zombies unless they're blocking the path of the zombie. Here are the robot types for this year. You've got the Archon, your main guy. He's the one who can activate neutral robots, repair robots, spawn robots. He has special signaling ability that we'll talk about later. He generates 1 part per turn and cannot attack. We'll talk about what parts are later. Scouts, they're not obstructed by rubble. They have the ability to send special message signals, and they also cannot attack. Then we've got the Soldier, a vanilla unit. Guard, which deals bonus damage versus zombies. He deals 2 times the damage. Vipers, they can infect other robots, and in fact, they cause infection even when they themselves are not infected. The infection deals damage over time, and if a robot is destroyed while infected, then it becomes a zombie. The type of zombie it becomes is shown in the table. An Archon would become a big zombie, a Scout would become a fast zombie, and so on. The turret and the TTM are basically one unit that can transform from one to the other by packing and unpacking. It's an artillery unit. The zombies are shown here. We've got the standard, ranged, fast, and big zombies. This year's maps follow the following rules. They are 30 by 30 to 100 by 100 grid. Each square may have any quantity of rubble and parts on it. There are 3 to 6 Archons per team. There are any number of dens from 0 to who knows how many on the map. These are the zombie dens that spawn the zombie robots. There's a schedule for zombie spawns provided in the map XML file, and the maps are symmetric by reflection or rotation. Parts are used to construct new robots. Your team has a team-shared parts stockpile, so one Archon may pick up parts in one part of the map, and those parts will be available to Archons on the other side of the map to build robots, as if it were just a global shared variable. Each Archon on your team generates 1 part per round, which is added to the stockpile, and Archons can also collect parts by moving onto map tiles that have parts on them. Both teams start with 200 parts. Now for rubble. A robot moving onto a tile with more than 50 rubble on it suffers a 2x action delay penalty, so it moves more slowly. if there's more than 100 rubble, then it blocks movement completely, and the robot cannot move onto the tile at all. Scouts, fast zombies, and big zombies can move on to tiles with rubble and suffer no penalties at all. When a robot is destroyed, the tile underneath that robot has rubble incremented by the maximum health of that zombie. So it sort of turns into a pile of broken pieces. Then other robots, if they want to clear rubble away, they can call clear rubble, and after that function call, the amount left is 95% times the original amount, minus 20, and down to a minimum of 0. For robots to communicate with one another, they use a signaling queue. Each robot has a queue of signals that it can retrieve on its turn, and that queue contains signals sent from all robots within signal range. That means that it's receiving signals from allies and from enemy robots. It costs some bytecode and action delay to send a signal. And this basic signal contains a location, team, and ID of the sending robot. But there are special message signals which can be sent by Archons and Scouts. These special message signals also contain 2 integers. The non-player controlled robots, like the zombies and neutral ones, do not use the signals, they don't react to them. Your robots can sense any square within its robot type specific sight range. So it can see the amount of rubble and parts on that tile, it can detect whether that tile is on the map, and it can also see robots that are within its sight range and detect information about those robots, such as their delays, team, type, health, and infection status. Vision is not shared between robots this year. If one robot sees a massive pack of enemies and he wants to communicate that to the rest of the team, he's going to have to find a way to do that using the messaging system. Sensing range is measured in units of squared range, so it's a little confusing at first, but it saves bytecode by comparing the squared numbers instead of the actual Euclidean distances. For example, let's look at a range table that I made for convenience. Here we can see the turret. It's got a longer attack range than its sight range, and its sight range is 4 tiles. If we look under the table, it says the turret sight range is 24. So that means that it can see just under 5 tiles away, since 5 squared is 25. And sure enough, it can see 4 tiles away. The game ends when one team has 0 Archons, then the other team immediately wins. If that doesn't take place, then one of these tie breaks apply. For more information on this year's game specs, come see our website at battlecode.org and read the full gameplay specs. Also, you can ask questions and submit bugs on our forum, and you can talk to us in real time using the IRC channel #Battlecode. In the next video, we'll talk about making a player and see some action. See you then.